Okay, class, you should be finishing up with your warm-up now. The idea was to write 2 to 3 sentences on what you think you might already know about setting. So let's go ahead and talk about it. What is a setting? Yes? Right. Setting is a time, a place, where something is, what it looks like. A setting pretty much sets up our story. What are some clues that we can look at to figure out our setting? Yes. Yeah, we definitely can use adjectives. It paints a picture in our mind, right? What about the time period? What are some clues as to our time period? Yes. Right, so examples like Walkman or someone says groovy, we know that that's not in our current time period. So what I want us to do is do a little activity first. So I want us to look at this picture and let's talk about it. So if we're looking at this picture, can we guess and talk about our setting? So how would you describe this to me? Right. So can we guess that in this picture here, it's not really probably set in this time, correct? Right. It's more rustic. It's probably in the middle of a mountain. So having this picture, having this description potentially in a story helps us understand where our story is at and when it's set. Nice job. So if you look on your desk, you see I've put a piece of blank computer paper there. Now you should have colored pencils, crayons in your desk. If you don't, we can find them in the back of my classroom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read an excerpt from The Most Dangerous Game. What I'm going to get you guys to do is from what Rainsford and Whitney are two characters talking, okay, from what they're saying, I want you to draw what you see in your own head. I want to see if they talked about it enough, if they set up the story enough, we have an idea where it's at, and if it's painted enough of a picture in your mind, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and read it now. I'm going to have it up on the computer screen so that you guys can also read along with me too. The Most Dangerous Game. Off there to the right, somewhere, is a large island, said Whitney. It's rather a mystery. What island is it? Rainsford asked. The old charts call it Shipwreck Island, Whitney replied. A suggestive name, isn't it? Sailors have a curious dread of the place. I don't know why. Some superstition. Can't see it, remarked Rainsford, trying to peer through the dank tropical night that was palpable as it pressed its thick, warm blackness in upon the yacht. You've good eyes, said Whitney with a laugh, and I've seen you pick off a moose moving in the brown fall bush at 400 yards. But even you can't see 4 miles or so through a moonless Caribbean night. Nor 4 yards, admitted Rainsford. Ugh, it's like moist black velvet. It'll be light enough in Rio, promised Whitney. We should make it in a few days. I hope the Jaguar guns have come from Purdney's. We should have some good hunting up in the Amazon. Great sport, hunting. The best sport in the world, agreed Rainsford. For the hunter, amended Whitney, not for the jaguar. Don't talk rot, Whitney, said Rainsford. You're a big game hunter, not a philosopher. Who cares how a jaguar feels? Perhaps the jaguar does, observed Whitney. Bah, they've no understanding. Even so, I rather think they understand one thing. Fear. The fear of pain and the fear of death. Nonsense, laughed Rainsford. This hot weather is making you soft, Whitney. Be a realist. The world is made up of 2 classes, the hunters and the huntees. Luckily, you and I are hunters. Do you think we passed that island yet? I can't tell in the dark. I hope so. Why? Asked Rainsford. The place has a reputation. A bad one. So what I'm going to get you guys to do is I want you to finish up in about 2 to 3 minutes of this drawing, and then I'm going to get a couple of you to share with me about what you drew and why you drew. Maybe Rainsford and Whitney's conversation. Put a picture in your mind, okay? Okay, so let's share. Let's see. Yes. Right. So what he did is he drew an island in the distance, and he covered a lot of his paper with darkness because, as Rainsford had commented, it was really, really dark. He said he could see an island far off, but Whitney had made a joke that is way too dark. There was like a black, moist, velvety dark. Nice job. Okay, so what I want you to do is to grab a blank sheet of paper out, or just grab your writing journals, whichever. And I want us to think for a second about what setting is. So now that we have talked about it a little bit, had a better understanding about it, I want you to kind of have your own idea about what setting is. I want to see if you guys comprehend what setting truly is. So what we're going to do is I want you to write in at least 8 sentences using 10 descriptive words or phrases. I want you to think about this idea. You have an unlimited amount of money, and you can spend that unlimited amount of money to redecorate your bedroom any way you like. I want you to describe to me how your bedroom would look if you had this opportunity. So for example, for me, I would say my walls were painted a light blue and I had a chocolate flowing fountain in the corner of the room. So I want you guys to be as creative as possible. And I'm going to give you 10 minutes. And remember, 8 sentences, 10 descriptive words or phrases in those 8 sentences, okay? I want you to paint in my mind what your room would look like if you had an unlimited amount of money, okay? Okay, now that 10 minutes is up, I want us to share a little bit. So what are some things that you have written that you would like to share? Let's see. Oh, that's really nice. Okay. Oh, nice. So he would like a giant flat screen TV that went all across his wall. Awesome. Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of what setting is, we now understand that setting is imperative to a novel or short story. Without it, we won't understand where a character is, what they're doing, what time period it is. It uses description and context clues to help us figure out where our story takes place and in what time period. Without that visualization, it is impossible to fully delve into a story and to fully be in that story, okay? So I want us to think about that. Go ahead and pass in your 10 or your 8 sentences, okay? Pass it to the left, okay? And I'll collect them in a moment.